I'm not saying the property itself is restricted.
Whoa.
You can't legally film us.
Absolutely. You touch it.
Most of the
definitely.
facilities in our city are posted. For some reason, this one's not.
And so this is their domain. This is their house.
There isn't.
And we should have, these gates all should be locked. Told to lock them before. I called you a dick.
Okay.
So am I being trespassed?
Yes. Are you parked out here?
No, I parachuted in actually earlier. Halo jump. A little cold up there. I didn't have a coat, so.
The cops will get your name.
You know what? I promise you this. They will not. You understand?
I personally, on behalf of them, am willing to risk whatever kind of litigation.
Camera, back off!
Get out of here.
You touch me or my camera. Hey everyone, I am free. It's July 25th, 2024. I'm in the town of Kalama, city of Kalama, K-A-L-A-M-A, here in Cowlitz County, Washington State. Heading to that wastewater treatment plant in front of us. Looking to get some photos, video, audio recording. I've increased my interest in these places because as I've repeatedly gotten tips and leads from people regarding these wastewater treatment plants and spills, I've wanted to look at more of these places to educate myself on the differences between them, so as I get more tips and leads in the future, that I'll have more knowledge and be able to ask better questions and therefore do better by my stories as I report them to you guys. All right, here we are at the city of Kalama wastewater treatment plant. Hello.
How's it going?
Hey, where's your admin office here?
Probably in the town.
Oh, sorry, I meant just here. I'm just looking to get a public records request form.
Oh, okay, yeah, you'd have to do it at City Hall.
Ooh.
And City Hall is under construction.
Yeah, that's not helpful. Usually I just try to get a form, but I guess I'll just make a verbal public records request with you guys. Oh, sorry, actually, are you guys with the city?
Yeah, we are, but we can't give you any information because we don't have it.
Oh, no, I'm not asking for the information.
Well, you can't give us the request. You have to submit it with City Hall.
What makes you think that?
That's just the way it is.
How do you know that?
Are you filming?
Yeah.
Could you shut that off?
No, I can't.
Time for you to go.
Well, then get out.
Go.
Ooh. Whoa.
You can't legally film us.
Absolutely. You touch it!
Hey everyone, so what you heard just before there in that slow motion audio video clip is that muffled sound. That is that employee actually making contact with the microphone, which sits above the GoPro, of course. So that's why you can't see the tips of his fingers making contact with it, why you can only see the palm because he's right there and he's basically trying to mildly push it out of the way. And like you'll hear me mention here later, it's absolutely the slightest form of assault one could do. The umbrage I take with this, though, is the fact that these public employees feel entitled to do these kinds of things, to conduct themselves in those kinds of manners, absolutely knowing unequivocally that the police, prosecutors, the entire system will never prosecute them, ever. Under any circumstance. Look what government officials get away with all the time, with much greater violence and whatnot used against citizens to violate their liberties.
Camera, back off!
Get the fuck out.
Get out of here.
You touched me or my camera.
I did not touch anything.
Call 911.
Do you understand?
I'm calling
Call the cops.
911.
Do you understand me?
I did not touch
You did touch my camera.
I did not
didn't.
touch your camera.
I just
leave,
recorded you doing
please.
it.
I just did
Please
that.
leave, sir.
Don't you ever touch me. You understand?
I did not touch you.
Now listen what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish
What's
getting
your
my
name?
B-roll footage. You
No,
get
you're
my
going to get
name.
off our property.
Your property?
Yeah.
It's my property.
No, it's not. It's a fenced-in. It's a private.
All your gates are open. There's no signs restricting access. This is a public facility.
What's your deal, dude?
I'm
Why
actually
you
working
being a
on
dick?
story.
Why are you being a dick? Yeah, you're being
He
a dick.
came up
No, you come in here and
and
demand stuff
assaulted
from
me.
us.
It's time for you to leave.
He assaulted
Touching
you. You're a
me
joke.
or my
You're a
property.
fucking joke.
You're a joke.
I'm calling 911
What
right
you're not
now.
going to do is do anything about it.
I'm going to
You
call
understand?
911. I know nothing's going to be done about it, but we're going to get your name.
You're not
and
gonna
you're
get
not
anything.
coming back.
Yeah, yeah.
The cops will get your name.
You know what? I promise you this. They will not. You understand?
Whatever. Fucking weirdo.
Man, I don't know who you think you are doing
working
that.
At the city
But that was
wastewater
assault.
treatment plant. We
I
got
never
a
touched you.
guy
touched
here
my
with
camera.
the camera, and he's being an asshole. I just
did.
Never touched your camera.
I got it on recording.
Because you say I
The
did
city
this.
Kalama wastewater treatment.
It's on recording.
I did this. I
Yeah,
did
and then you
not
touch
touch
it.
your camera. I did this.
You actually touched it.
He didn't
I
touch
did
it,
not.
Dude, I was standing right
It's
there.
on recording.
Oh,
I don't
Jesus
care.
Christ.
You don't care that it's on recording and that's the evidence of the assault.
You can't say that I did that when all I did was this. I did not touch your camera.
The mic moved.
I don't care if the mic moved. I did not touch the camera.
That's part of the camera. It's attached to it.
It's still. It's time for you to leave.
No, I need to get my photos and video first.
He's harassing us. He's taking pictures. He's filming,
Sir, you need to stop.
You need to leave.
and he won't get off the
You
property.
understand?
You need to leave.
I'm not leaving. I'm getting my photo and video.
Don't leave him.
You don't have anything to
I don't
get
know,
here.
He's got a mask on and shit. He's all undercover for some reason. Yeah.
Just, dude, I'm working on a story about this place, okay? That's it. Calm down.
You don't need to come in here and demand things. So it's
First
time
of
for you to
all-
leave.
First of all, I can come to any office to get a public records request now.
You have to go to City Hall to get
I
that.
don't. Listen, I know you're not.
I don't have the paperwork. I
You
cannot
don't-
give you any
you
kind
don't
of
need to.
information.
Look,
Travis.
let's just start this all over again, okay? I'm doing a public records request. RCW 42.56.080 subsection
You need to
2.
do that with City Hall.
No, that's not what the statute says. The statute says you can go to any office, commission, bureau, division, organization, etc., any of them. And do a public records request, okay? So, I can come here, I can do it verbally. I understand you guys don't have a
You
document.
can't shove that fucking camera in our face.
I didn't
That's
shove it in your
bullshit.
face.
You're filming us
Yeah.
for some goddamn
Well,
weird
and
reason.
Because you're my
a
public
fucking
Here's
lunatic.
the other whack. You cannot legally record us without informing us first.
Listen, I know what you're referring to. It's
We know you know what you're
It-
doing.
it's
Because
yeah.
fucking obviously do your
Time for you to go.
It's RCW 9.73.
Time for you to go.
It's a two-party consent state when there's an expectation of privacy. There is no expectation of privacy here. It's a public.
We're not here to be
coming in
recorded.
here and asking for the information. Not a bit. You can do that. You're welcome to do that. But don't come
I
in here and
appreciate
film us. I mean, that's bullshit.
Listen,
even
it's
though,
not.
even our employer has cameras here, and they can't legally film us without our information.
Listen, I'm glad you made that point because the cameras that are here can be records requested, right? So if I can records request that video footage, why is it that someone else can't record?
You have to do
guys
that
can
through City Hall.
You guys can.
We don't.
Okay, I'll
we
tell
have no control over those cameras.
I'll tell you what. Let's go down that road. What is informing you that it has to be done at City Hall? You obviously are aware of it. So what's telling you that I have to go there?
Record requests have to be done at City Hall.
Okay.
They have the information. They have to be notified so
Correct.
they can give you the
And
information you're looking for.
And you're a public servant, so you can relay that. That's what I'm asking you to do. Okay, hold on. Let me ask you this. And this just may be an issue that maybe it's poor management from the city. Have you been trained on public records requests for the city? Have you received any
That's
training?
none of your business.
You're a public employee. So you haven't.
I didn't say I haven't.
Okay, well then if you have been trained, you're familiar with Section 80 of the Public Records Act. If you're familiar with Section 80, you're familiar with subsection 2, and subsection 2 says you can go to any publicly available location to do it. I asked for a form to make it easier for you guys, okay? That's the whole
The form you got to go to City Hall for.
But you can also do it verbally.
I do not have the form.
So I'll tell you what, you got 5 business days to respond or convey it to them so that they respond to me within 5 business days. Here's my records request.
Who do we send it to?
The city. You type it up.
No.
Whatever you want to do.
We got to have a name so they can send you the information you're looking for.
You can get my email address. That's fine. And I'll give that to you. I'm going to provide it to you.
Why will you not give a name?
Because I like my Fourth Amendment and you're the government, so why would I void my Fourth Amendment to just appease you? Dude, did you just import yourself from North Korea or something? I mean, you just love the communist
Why don't you
state?
get off the property and we're going to lock the gates?
I'm not.
You're being asked to leave the premises.
Look, I understand
You
you're
have
asking
been
me to
asked
leave.
on their
multiple
way.
times
Yeah.
to leave.
If you'd have come in here
It's time
just
for you to
fucking
leave.
cool,
Restricted
not with a
access.
camera in our faces, we'd have talked to you. But you're being a fucking dick.
I'm not being.
You are. You're a fucking dick.
In no way.
Bullshit.
So this is
Come in here. So if I walked into your
this is
fucking
how
place
city
of work.
employees behave. In
So
the
probably
if I
doesn't
walked,
work.
So yeah, you probably don't
This
work.
is how
So if
city
I walked
employees
into
behave
your
in the
house,
city of Kalama. You
no,
guys
we don't have any
swear,
problem.
You yell.
Well, yeah, when you
scream,
come in here
act
and film us and
maniacal,
act like you
do
own the
all
place.
this stuff. Now, I guarantee you, if I do a public records request, I'm going to find that the policies say if a member of the public or a journalist comes in to do a story, yell, scream, act like a maniac, swear, get too close to people, touch their equipment, and do all these things. That's the standard operating
I'm sure
procedure.
we can ask you to leave. I'm sure we have that at least.
Look,
I mean, do
you
we have
absolutely can ask, but you cannot compel me to leave. Okay?
Well, why won't you do as you're asked then? Because you're here to stir
No,
problems.
because I'm
Yes,
actually
you are.
working on a story, sir.
But why didn't you disclose that when you
What's
came
the
in?
story?
Because the first thing I was asking
What's the
for
story?
was a public records request for.
What's the story?
The story is that I'm working on wastewater treatment plants in different states of existence. Some of them are new, some of them are old, because multiple people around the state have reached out to me as an investigative
Christ.
journalist asking for me to look into at different locations, not this one. This is actually just a B-roll footage shot for me today. I've got no tips and leads that discuss leaks or contamination or anything. But part of the story that I'm working on, because of other places I've worked where citizens have said, we've got a leak, we'd like you to look at this. I'm actually, as a journalist, trying to educate myself more on how different places look so you can get them in different states of repair and maintenance. So when I do go to a place that possibly does, based on tips and leads, actually have reports of contamination, leaks, etc., I can be more informed and educated as a journalist. So one of the things I'm doing is coming here to get this.
journalist, you should practice your approach. I mean, that's all we're saying. When you come in here like this, I don't know. I mean, we don't know what to think.
Look, I understand that, but if you recall, when I walked in there, all I did was ask for a public records request. That's all I did. I wasn't rude. I wasn't swearing.
Yeah,
I
but
wasn't
when I asked you to
yelling.
put the camera away, you got rude.
Well, sir, how am I supposed to
but
do my
like
job as a journalist if I'm not
You
recording
can
what's going
disclose
on?
what you're doing when you come in instead of being all weird and secretive and masked up.
I was literally about to tell you through the public records request, because I was going to provide, which I'm still going to provide, my email address and exactly the records that I'm looking for. That's all I need help with. That's literally all I'm asking for. So if you guys could provide assistance, that's literally all I'm asking for.
We've got your
here.
assistants right
Okay?
here.
What's up, buddy?
He'll run you
nothing.
over to
I don't-
City Hall and you can ask for
sorry?
you can ask for what you need.
I don't need police. I think these guys are the ones that called.
Okay.
We've asked him to leave multiple
So look,
times.
all I'm looking to do here is complete the public records request, okay?
Okay.
And I need to get the B-roll footage
Sir,
on here.
sir, this isn't the place where you do a public records request.
How confident of that are you?
This isn't the place where you do a public
How
record.
confident of that are you?
Very.
All right, everybody. So what I was just talking about there a moment ago for the records request can be found in the Revised Codes of Washington, Title 42, Chapter 56, Section 80, Subsection 2. And in that section, it is written that public records shall be available for inspection and copying, and agencies shall, upon request for identifiable public records, make them promptly available to any person, including, if applicable, on a partial or installment basis, as records that are part of a larger set of requested records are assembled or made ready for inspection or disclosure. Now, it talks about agencies, so in Washington State we have to understand what agencies are. So in the definitions section of Title 42, Chapter 56, Section 10, it states that an agency includes all state agencies and local agencies. Local agencies include every county, city, town, municipal corporation, quasi-municipal corporation, or special purpose district, or any office, department, division, bureau, board, commission, or agency thereof, or other local public agency. So what I'm getting at here is that you absolutely can go to any office there is. There is no other way out of that. You can go to any public building that is available to the public based on time, place, manner restrictions. It was open at the time. The manner that I was there for was lawful reasons, and the place was open to the public at the time.
Okay.
I can lead you to the place where you
So
can.
Section 80 of the statute's incorrect.
I can lead you to the place where you can.
I don't need... I'm here. I'm making a verbal public records request
Okay.
to these public employees right now.
This is a wastewater treatment plant.
Correct.
They don't have access to those records.
You're right, they don't.
Nor can they help you file that paperwork.
Correct.
So why are you asking them?
Because I can make the verbal request
Okay.
for statute,
Okay.
which is what I'm trying to do right now.
As another city employee, I'm helping them by helping you and
So
telling
you want to take the public records request?
Sure.
Great.
What do you want to know?
I need to get any records responsive to any possible spills, broke lines, pipes at this facility over the last 2 fiscal years.
Okay. While I may have a master's degree, I'm kind of dumb, so I'm gonna need that in writing with your name on it so that way I can file it for you.
First of all, I appreciate the deprecative humor, but that is not how this works. I mean, I can absolutely make it verbally. So, I mean, I'm assuming you're recording.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, you can use that
I'm not going to remember any of this, nor will I know who to give it to.
Have you been instructed or educated on, from the city, I mean, like how they want you to handle public records requests?
I know that we have to do it formally. I know that we have to submit paperwork. I know we have to know who's at least making the request. So in order for me to help you, I need you to help me with who you are and at least give me a detailed list for what you need so that way I can file that for you.
Sure. I just gave you the list.
Okay.
I don't have to provide my name for a public records request. The Public Records Act is very
How do we get you the information?
Oh, I happen to give you my email address. Yeah, and
That
you're
works.
recording, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's anonymous citizen WA at protonmail.com.
Okay.
Standard spelling of everything, ANONYMOUS, citizen, CITIZEN, WA at protonmail, PROTONMAIL.com.
Okay. So again, in the event that I go back, okay, and they say, hey, Mike, I need you to file this through paperwork because we can only give this information to somebody via printed paper.
Sure.
Okay. How do you figure I go about getting it to you that way? Because if they want me to do it formally,
Sure.
okay, I can get you the information all day long. But if they want me to do it via formal request, it's got to be via formal request.
What do you mean formal request?
Look, dude, I personally, okay, whenever somebody wants to do a FOIA request,
Sure.
okay, I instruct them to speak with our clerk for the Kalama Police Department or with our city clerk,
Sure.
which is downtown. They are schooled up. They've been to all the trainings. They know
Sure.
all the know-how, how to get all that information.
Sure.
I, on the other hand, have no problem helping you get there, but I can't do it for you. So if I go to them and say, hey, I spoke with this gentleman who wanted this information, okay, I can't necessarily do it unless it's coming from you.
Well, I mean, I've already made it, so what I'd politely request for, as a public servant for the city, is just give them a copy of or let them review the body-worn camera. I mean, that'll work. And again, I'll repeat it so I'm clear that way. There's no confusion over. So it's
because there's no helicopters now. So go ahead.
fair enough. So the email address is ANONYMOUS CITIZEN WA at protonmail PROTONMAIL. So anonymous citizen WA at protonmail.com. And then, like I said, what I'm looking for is any responsive records for any spills, any broken lines, any maintenance lines for the last 2 fiscal years, going back from today, July 25th.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I need to get is I just need to finish getting my B-roll footage, photo and video, just to some of the tanks and some of this stuff right here.
Okay.
Part of what I was trying to explain before the guy assaulted me. Granted, I will say the most minimal assault one could ever do.
Right.
He was making contact with my camera, which he's not allowed to do.
Okay.
But I'm just here getting general B-roll footage. I've got no tips and leads about this facility having any leaks or anything.
Right.
However, as a journalist, when I started working on about 9 months ago, actually, wastewater treatment plants. I got tips and leads from some people in local areas north of here that were like, hey, we got some spills. Frankly, I was not particularly educated on wastewater treatment plants at that point. So what I'm trying to do is also go around the places that don't, as far as I know, have any record or history of spills, contamination, etc.
Right.
To see what the state of different facilities are like,
Okay.
so that I can be like, hey, here's one that seems to be working correctly.
Right.
I just did one yesterday that's like literally almost complete, brand new, and I've got ones that I know that there were spills at, or I should say feel very confident that there were spills at. And I can juxtapose between these 3 different locations, well actually more than that now, and say, this is what they should look like, this is what a normal operating but aged facility looks like.
Right.
Here's one that likely had a spill going into a reservoir, that kind of stuff. So I just need to finish up here. Like I said, I understand they don't like the idea of being, audio video recorded, but it's a public facility.
I think where the bigger issue lies is while it is a public facility, okay, just like our police department, okay, there are parts where you can walk into willy-nilly, okay, and then there are other parts due to records, due to private information, due to stuff like that you can't necessarily go to without escort, okay? And while you can come in and make that request to say, hey, I'd like to be escorted, if there's no one available to do that at that moment, you could say, hey, we can make an appointment and we can schedule something to where you can be escorted from this time to this time. This facility, while it is a public facility, okay, it is still a facility where these men are trained, okay? They know the hazards, they know what you can go near, what you can't go near.
Sure.
Not saying that you're not educated on those things.
I'm getting there.
But they probably don't want you here for those reasons, okay? There's chain link fences. You are more than welcome to walk around, stick your camera up, and keep everything on this side of the fence line. You can record whatever you want because it is all open to public eye, okay? But in terms of you walking around getting your footage, I think you'll be limited there. Unless, like I said, you submit some sort of request to be escorted. I'm sure either one of these gentlemen at the direction of their director or the director himself would be happy to give you a tour if you go about it through their appropriate channels.
Okay, I hear you. I'm a bit confounded though. Like, what to you as a law enforcement officer is leading you to believe affirmatively that this place is restricted?
Hold on real quick.
Sure.
7 David and County Answer to get down real quick.
Excuse me.
Okay, one more time.
So, in hearing you out,
Okay.
what is instructing you affirmatively that this place is restricted access?
So, I'm not saying the property itself is restricted. I'm not saying the property itself is restricted. Okay, I'm just saying that the things that are working here, okay, the pumps and everything else.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
There could be some dangers that lie with people that are untrained going around it. While it's really pretty, okay, it's right next to the port, it's nice here. I wouldn't want to walk in here without at least one of them knowing what I'm doing, because uniform or not, I'm really a monkey at heart and I might break something or break myself.
Sure. No, and
Okay.
I appreciate what you're saying there, and actually I want to be clear. All I'm looking to get from inside the facility, and by within I mean out here, not in there.
Right.
What I'm looking to get is B-roll footage from a distance. I promise you, I'm not looking to get into any of those vats.
And
I'm not climbing up on anything.
Right.
I'm not going to be going up any stairs or into like the maintenance shed.
And that's
None of
fine.
that.
But you can get a lot of that footage from outside the chain link fence.
I could get some of it, but not all of it that I need to get. And so,
And in order for you to get the footage that you do want, I'm just saying that you would have to go through the appropriate channels to get there. Okay.
and what's instructing you that that's true?
Because just like they wouldn't walk into the PD and go into areas that we have restricted without permission, I'm not going to come here, nor am I going to give anyone else permission to do that without their say-so. I'm not saying the property itself is restricted. And so this is their domain, this is their house, this is where they come to whenever they're not home, this is where they make their money and everything else. They know how this place works.
Now, I want to say, while I think Officer Castellanoz is a nice guy, I really do believe that, he's made 2 significant admissions at this point, with more to come, in confirming a violation of my civil liberties to create speech and gather information for dissemination to the public in a lawful manner. 1, he has already admitted the property is not restricted.
I'm not saying the property itself is restricted.
That is crucial. 2, he has just now admitted that this is, in effect, a feelings issue.
And so this is their domain, this is their house.
The employees need to feel special and safe in their domain.
They know what's allowed, what's not allowed. And if on the onset they're saying, hey man, you can't come in here, okay, with this being public property, you can do it if you ask so through the appropriate channels.
You
Okay?
are partially correct. I think where we're having a disagreement on what allows me to gain access to this facility is that amount of case law at both a state and a federal level have discussed time, place, manner restrictions. So to give sort of a silly example.
So hold on. Just like with FOIA requests, okay, the request first has to be made in order for you to obtain that information. Just like you coming into this property, okay, you need to put in some sort of request so that way they know who it is that's walking around and everything else. Especially with the state of affairs that's currently happening in the world, we don't know who you are. I haven't searched you. I don't know if you're here to cause harm to the facility, cause harm to one of them. We don't know any of those things.
Well, first of all, I want to assuage any concerns. These 2 cameras are the non-flamethrower, non-guided missile strike
journalistic
cameras,
journalistic goals or not, okay, you at least have to put up some sort of, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, would you allow me to do it? If the city were to come back and say, hey man, F you, we don't know who the hell you are, you're not filming anything, then you got a bigger story in your hands. But one thing about Kalama that I've always appreciated is that whenever it comes to FOIA requests, no matter how ridiculous they may be sometimes, we always grant them because we understand case law, we understand federal law, we understand that we have to answer those questions. This place, you could fly a drone over it, you can stand on the outside of it, you can film what you need to film. Nothing is restricting you from doing that, okay? I'm sure that if you go through the appropriate channels, like I said, they would either be directed or they would give you permission themselves to let you do so. Without that, I can't allow you to do so, neither will they.
Sure. And I've heard you out completely. I just want to finish what I was mentioning earlier. So I think where the disagreement here is that time, place, manner restrictions, and your example is poignant from the police station that you gave.
Right.
But the condition on that, and I'm just guessing, I've never been inside your police department here in the city of Kalama. I'm guessing that you guys have perhaps for the Sallyport area, if you have a Sallyport, probably for your parking lot area, and maybe past desks, you have things that say no unauthorized personnel, no trespassing, restricted access. When you go around this facility, there's 3 open gates, one over there, one one here. There's no signage. Now, I don't look to go commit crimes. I've never committed crimes. Okay? So the thing for me here is I am only looking to get my footage, right? Lawfully. I am lawfully present here right now. I'm lawfully allowed to be here.
Right.
I'm not impeding anyone's work, their actions. I haven't even been rude until I got approached as I did by that guy back there.
I was say, could argue on the impeding right now, but yeah.
So the idea here is that with me being allowed to be here, because it's public property, there's no restrictions for access. Like I said, I'm guessing, because I've never been to your police department, but if your chief of police has an office, probably does, it's probably back behind an area that says restricted access, no unauthorized personnel, police personnel only, something like that. I'd love to throw a $5 bet down right now. Well, hell, we'll make it 20 because of inflation. Let's go around the outside of this facility and see if we can find any restricted access signs in any way, shape, or form that says the public is not allowed to be here. Now, if the gates were all closed and I pulled out my pocket-sized pole vault, which allows me to cleverly vault over these fences so I can do my ninja attack on the wastewater treatment plant, probably be a little different because, well, I don't know, you've decided to close the gates and restrict access to this place and all that kind of stuff. But without anything here that restricts access with signs, it's no different than any other limited public forum.
True.
This is a limited public forum.
Yep. Yeah.
It allows me to gain access during open hours. It's open. I came in here to do a public records request, which is lawful business. I've now concluded that with you.
Yep.
I just like to probably only need about 10 minutes of photo, video, audio, and I'm out of here because that's all I need as a journalist here.
So, at least right now, today, that's going to be a no-go.
So you're
Okay.
going to trespass me?
If it gets to that point, if I trespass you, then you're prevented from coming back. Okay.
I understand that.
I still want to give you the availability to go through the appropriate channels to request you come in and get any footage you need. Okay. So right now it's going to be an ask.
Sure, I understand. And look, you're being nice. I appreciate it. We're having a polite disagreement. I don't agree with your analysis here. Obviously, you don't agree with mine. What I'd like to do is exhaust every option available for us in this cordial encounter.
Yeah.
I'd politely request if I could get a corporal, a sergeant, lieutenant. I don't know how you guys do your rank structure.
Yeah.
If I could get one of them to show up, I'd just like to at least say, hey, I put in every effort I could before I was trespassed. And I'd also politely request if you could look at Section 90 from the trespass statute.
Okay.
For the defenses against criminal trespass.
Okay.
It says right in there what the ability for people to, let me get this chapter 52 here. There we go. The defenses against criminal trespass. The premises were at the time open to members of the public, and the actor complied with all lawful conditions imposed on access or remaining on the premises. There is nothing that's restricting or preventing access from entering this building.
In Washington state, the RCWs are the state statutes and stand for the Revised Codes of Washington. Title 9A is the criminal title of the RCWs. In RCW Title 9A, Chapter 52, Section 90, Criminal Defenses Against Trespass, the following is written. In any prosecution under RCW 9A 52, 070 and 080, it is a defense that 1. A building involved in an offense under RCW 9A 52, 070 was abandoned, or 2. The premises were at the time open to members of the public and the actor complied with all lawful conditions imposed on access to or remaining in the premises, or 3, the actor reasonably believed that the owner of the premises or other person empowered to license access thereto would have licensed him or her to enter or remain, or 4, the actor was attempting to serve legal process which included any document required or allowed to be served upon persons or property by any statute, rule, ordinance, regulation, or court order, excluding delivery by the mails of the United States. This defense applies only if the actor did not enter into a private residence or other building not open to the public, and the entry onto the premises was reasonable and necessary for service of the legal process. Now, sections 2 and 3 are the relevant sections here. The premises were open to the public at the time, and I complied with all lawful conditions imposed on access. As Officer Castellanoz agreed, I did on recording.
I'm not saying the property itself is restricted.
Additionally, public works employees arbitrarily and capriciously determining that I can or cannot be there is not a lawful condition. Furthermore, there was clear implied consent to enter the publicly accessible property as agreed to, again, by Officer Castellanoz when he affirmed that it was not restricted.
I'm not saying the property itself is restricted.
Earlier in this story.
Now, if there's a sign that said, Steve, the journalist, you're not allowed to come here. No one's allowed to come here during the day. What are you doing, you maniac? That'd be a very specific sign, but if there was a sign like that, then yeah, if I came in here, you'd be...
So, with your first request.
Sure.
It is 11:10, so we're not due to have a sergeant here until 12, okay? And we're definitely not gonna hang out until 12. But as soon as he shows up, I can either connect you with him or you can go to our PD and wait to speak with him there. Okay. So that's the first request. Second request, I personally, on behalf of them, am willing to risk whatever kind of litigation that may follow for me telling you, hey man, unless you have the proper requests to go through, I can tell you, I could also tell you that he will probably say that after this interaction with you, there's probably going to be some signs up. There's probably going to be...
Why would signs get put up if there's already due notice that it's restricted? I mean, you guys see the conundrum here, right?
Most of the facilities in our city are posted. For some reason, this one's not. Most of the facilities in our city are posted. For some reason, this one's not. Being as we have we're hauling out stuff this week.
You know, I love the United States Constitution.
I know you like to talk. I know you like to hear yourself on your camera, but I was talking.
You've got a Fifth Amendment, right?
So whatever, and that's why you'll never be welcome back here if they ask us.
Right? This is insane, everyone. This public works employee, even though I'm about to get trespassed by Officer Castellano, is telling me I am in effect going to be permanently trespassed because of his personal animus towards me. This is the city of Kalama going into high gear on corruption. You just heard the quiet part out loud from the public employee that will be influencing the city's leadership to prevent me from ever having access ever again. Citizens of Kalama, these are your public employees telling you that this is not your property to access under lawful conditions and that these people are not your servants. In fact, these individuals would have you know they are your masters. Remember that when you vote this year and if you decide to seek redress of your grievances as well.
And that's why you'll never be welcome back here if they ask
Steve,
us.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as of right now, okay, it's a no-go. Again, I'm sure that if you put forth the appropriate requests,
Sure.
that they will have no problem granting you whatever kind of access to let you get whatever footage you need.
And that's why you'll never be welcome back here if they ask
Steve,
us.
right?
And that's why you'll never be welcome back here if they ask
Steve,
us.
right?
And that's why you'll never be welcome back here if they ask
Steve,
us.
right? Okay. Aside from that, as of right now, hard no.
So you're trespassing?
Do you want me to trespass you?
Yeah, I need to be trespassed because
Okay.
that's the only mechanism I'm going to have to bring civil suit against the city.
Okay.
And I mean, there just isn't any lawful ability for the city. And
Okay.
I appreciate it. We're having a respectful disagreement. I
Yeah.
mean, I got no ill will towards you or anything or them,
Yeah.
even though he was acting a little bit crazy earlier. Whoa.
You can't legally film us.
Absolutely. You touch it. But
So,
in this case, yeah, I need the trespass warning, and then I'm just going to go and do
Okay.
my thing.
okay.
So am I
are
being
you-
trespassed?
Yes. Are you parked out here?
No, I parachuted in actually earlier. Halo jump. A little
So-
cold up there. I didn't have a coat, so.
If you want, you can either hang out by my car or outside the gate. I'll get that form filled out for you.
You mean just right near the vehicle right here?
Sure.
Now, guys, remember, I'd highly recommend you use your Fifth Amendment at this point, right? Because this is all going to be able to be brought into evidence. Whoa.
You can't legally film us.
Absolutely. You touch it.
And that's why you'll never be welcome back
So,
here if they ask
Steve,
us.
right?
You're
Most
right.
of the
Definitely.
facilities in our city are posted. For some reason, this one's not.
I'm not saying the property itself is restricted. And so this is their domain. This is their house.
Get the fuck out.
Get out of here.
There isn't.
And we should have these gates all should be locked. We'll lock them before. I called you a dick.
So
And you didn't come
anything
here
you
looking
say-
for trouble.
No,
That's right.
I didn't come here looking for trouble.
Well, then how come you're causing trouble with all of us, even the police officer?
Sir,
you asked
what
for
you're
it.
defining
You
as
asked
trouble
for it.
is a disagreement with you. You want your way,
I know, but listen to
because you
you.
think this is your property.
I know, but we're not
and in
used
a way it is.
We're not used to dealing with this kind of
journalists,
stuff.
I
And
know.
that's that, you know, and I don't know if you are a journalist. Most journalists wear a tag identifying themselves. I don't know what you got going on.
The thing that I'm getting at is there's no expectation of privacy in public. So because
I'm
there is
aware of that.
because there isn't,
And we should have these gates all should be locked. We'll lock them before we just are doing the thing.
I'm
And that's why you'll never be welcome back
So,
here if they ask
Steve,
us.
right?
creating my own privacy in public by wearing
Hey.
this. What's going on?
Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, just I mean, I wouldn't speak anymore, man. I mean, you're only digging a hole for yourself here.
Okay.
Well, what's the hole?
The whole is the litigation, man. You guys are giving all of the statements that are going to be entered into evidence. Why would you do that?
See you there.
All right. My gosh. Crazy.
For the actual notice,
Sure.
we have a 30-day, 1-year permanent. I'm gonna hit the other box and put to be determined,
Okay.
just so that way, in the event that you end up filing or speaking with somebody like the Public Works Director, and he grants you permission to very easily lift this
Okay.
and let you go about finishing whatever footage you need.
All right.
So let me give you your copy.
Well, like I said, I appreciate the cordiality.
Yeah.
We can disagree,
No
and
problem.
I'll try to resolve this otherwise.
At the end of the day, still a citizen, you're not necessarily breaking the law.
Yep.
There's no need for me to be uncordial or a dick.
I agree. Would you do me a favor, just because I don't want to see that guy get jammed up? I mean, it's a choice for you. I mean, you're a
Yeah.
city employee too. Like I said, it was the most minimal touching, but the guy came up really hot on me, and he shouldn't have done it the way that he did.
So, I mean,
You just recommend to him not to do that again.
and I'll have no problem saying this on my camera, on your camera. The nature of your reporting, the nature of your truth learning, and everything else it is a little more brash than traditional
I completely agree.
investigations. So just like we, as of late, have had a lot of experience with First Amendment auditors, with people trying to be a little more upfront. Some are doing it to get rises out of us, to make cops make mistakes.
I think you can see I'm not doing that.
And totally, which I appreciate.
Sure.
But from any employee who is confronted with that form of investigating, that form of journalism, especially with what they're seeing on conservative media, what they're seeing on media in general, that there's these jerks going around trying to get rises out of cops, out of firemen, out of employees, out of what have you. So his immediate reaction may have been just that. Wasn't what your goal was.
Correct.
Whatever it is that you're trying to document. I mean, I think everyone has a right to know. Unfortunately, there's just ways to go about it, and there's ways to not go about it. Not saying that your way was wrong, but at least here in Kalama, there's a way to go about it.
Hey, sir, it'd be nice if next time you could work on your professionalism a little bit more, okay?
I'm just saying, I'm sorry I called you a dick. I know that's not a professional way to treat people, but I just felt that you weren't really being that cool.
Well, sometimes us journalists have to work on things and get a little brash, but, I didn't have any ill will towards you guys.
You're not a journalist, dude.
I absolutely am. You got to read RCW 5680105 and the case law Green versus Pierce 2021. It's right there. All right, so that's it here today. I'm going to do a public records request, obviously, on the wastewater treatment facility. All right, guys, I'm almost to the city hall here in the city of Kalama, here in Cowlitz County. I just was given a trespass warning, which would mean if I had stayed, I would have been arrested for criminal trespass. I'm going to make every effort I can to resolve this issue amicably, to have the city remove the unlawful trespass and go from there. Is it just standing room only in there?
Yeah, it's pretty small.
Okay, I'll wait.
You can come in. You can
okay.
come in. We're done.
Jam you guys up here.
Thank you.
Hi.
Is the city attorney available?
We actually contract that out.
I figured. Okay. I didn't want to assume. I figured it was possible you might have a city attorney. Who's your attorney for the city?
Frank Randall.
Is he here in town or Kelso, Longview?
I believe he's from up north.
Oh, gotcha, like the Seattle area.
I think so. Probably get more information from Connie down at the police department.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, here we are at the police department. Trying to get this squared away. Hello. I was told by Officer Castellanoz that the sergeant would be in at noon, or is on shift at noon. Is he available?
Let me go see. May I tell him who's here?
Steve.
Okay, just
Thanks.
Hi, Steve.
Right.
Steve, what's your last name?
I'd rather not give my last
You don't want to tell me? No. Okay, I'm Sergeant Satterley. I understand that you've had a situation down there.
Yeah, I'm just looking to resolve this.
Are you wearing that for preventive, or are you sick? Because it's hard for me to hear my ears. I have tinnitus in my ears.
Oh, I'm sorry, that sucks. I don't have tinnitus. I've heard it's really a terrible thing to have.
Yeah.
I'll talk louder.
Okay. Well, it's kind of a muffle.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
it's not necessarily a pitch. It's just like it's. So if I ask you to repeat, that's.
Yeah, I'm just wearing it because I really love it.
And you are being audio and video recorded.
Yep.
I'm sure I'm being audio and video
That's
recorded,
right.
which is
That's
fine.
right. Yeah. I'm just looking to resolve the issue that occurred down at the wastewater treatment plant.
I'm familiar with it.
Amicably. While I really appreciate the professionalism of Officer Castellanoz, really nice guy.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're having a polite disagreement on the analysis behind what prohibits my ability to be there.
Right.
So I went over the defenses against criminal trespass with him with my handy dandy pocketbook. I'm sure you got one yourself. It absolutely was open to the public at that time with no restrictions. So,
well, I think that's one of the things that we can agree to disagree with. I don't want to get into that right now, kind of thing, due to the fact that it is public property. There's a fence around it. The gates were open. It wasn't signed, and that's where we rectified that problem.
Sure.
And I was hoping, because he called me about it, I was hoping that maybe we could, not have to go through that trespass. But we do get our hands tied when. There's a reason why there's a fence around it. You understand, because you say you are doing a documentary about wastewater treatment, you can understand the hazards that go with it. We just can't have it open to the public because, number one, it's a safety issue, right? There's chemicals that are in there. We don't want some child that goes in there and falls into a tank and then we're at fault for it. That's why we have a fence.
I'm not saying the property itself is restricted.
There isn't.
And we should have, these gates all should be locked.
I agree.
We've been told to lock them before. You'll never be welcome back here.
And that's why we're putting up signs of no trespassing, authorized personnel only. The gates are going to be closed, but even then, when we have the signs up, yeah, it bolsters the trespass. Totally understandable. That's why, from my understanding, it was you were inside the facility.
I was.
They asked you to leave. You're like, no, I don't want to. And I get it. You're exercising your First Amendment, or you're doing this constitutional. And if I think instead of going through the trespass, if you would have left and would have set up a time to do a tour with it, maybe something, a meeting with our city administrator or our city works, I think that would have resolved it a heck of a lot easier. But you made a choice, and
sure.
we had to you basically dictate to us what we have to do, kind of thing. So you can disagree with that. That's perfectly fine. And there's ways to go through that. Obviously, no criminal charges are being filed or anything
sure.
like that. So, and that's where we're at. I understand you want to do a FOIA request. I think they gave you
I did get a form from the
Okay.
clerk treasurer.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
So,
And like I said, I'm just trying to be amicable here.
Right.
I get that we're agreeing to disagree, and sometimes that's what happens.
Yeah.
What I'm really wanting to do is see if there's any desire on part of the city right now at this point in time to make contact with your council to discuss the limited forum doctrine and the time, place, manner restrictions on that place. Because you just made a really good point that I think identifies exactly the point I was making back there. And boy, spot on with the kids example too. The city did not do its due diligence. The time, place, manner restrictions can't be arbitrary and capricious, and they were. There's nothing that restricts access to that place, at least when I went there. Now, if somebody
you disagree that a fence around something like that wouldn't prevent, that doesn't tell a reasonable person that, hey, this is probably a place that is secured. When people aren't there, there's probably people there. I'm just being reasonable.
Oh, no. I understand what you're saying.
And so it wouldn't be that you don't see in any other area of the United States to where people just have open access to a chemical waste plant like that.
Do you mean like here at the city of Buckley in King County at their wastewater treatment plant?
You have a right to do certain things. As long as you're cordial with me, I'll be good with you. Sure.
Or perhaps here on Vashon Island at their wastewater treatment plant in King County.
In areas like this, as you're seeing right here, right next to these chambers, plenty of them.
Due to, the toxins, just because of what it is in general. I don't want to get into the details of it, just because of what it is. It's a safety factor. I mean, we have an obligation to the citizens of Kalama to take care of their wastewater, right?
Sure.
And there's certain procedures and there's certain chemicals and again things that we have to do that is regulated by the feds, right? Department of Ecology, which you can get all that information, documentation is through the Department of Ecology. I was going to let you know about that.
Sure.
So putting a fence up and restricting access, it's kind of a safety thing and an obligation. So, I mean, having somebody just willy-nilly start walking in, it's kind of like, it's kind of suspicious. And why would somebody be there? You want to do a documentary? Absolutely, dude. Okay, but I think there's procedures that you can go through to make things a lot.
There are some to address your point about a fence. I'm glad you actually brought up that point, because a lot of times all across the United States we see places with fences that have time, place, manner restrictions, exactly like the wastewater treatment plant, like parks.
Like this lovely park here in the very same city I was in, the city of Kalama, at the Port of Kalama Marine Park.
We see parks that say at dusk,
Right.
you're not allowed to be here. There's a fence. Would a reasonable person believe that that park is not accessible? No, they wouldn't. They would look at the park and say, based on time, place, manner restrictions, limited forum doctrine, I'm allowed to go to this place and access it at the right time, in the right manner, at the right place. That's exactly what the wastewater treatment plant is. And also, as to your question, which I definitely want to answer, can I name some places that I've been that are wastewater treatment plants that welcome the public exactly like that facility? Absolutely. Vashon Island, Buckley, Washington.
Do you mean like here at the city of Buckley in King County at their wastewater treatment plant?
You have a right to do certain things. As long as you're cordial with me, I'll be good with you. Sure.
Or perhaps here on Vashon Island at their wastewater treatment plant in King County.
In areas like this, as you're seeing right here, right next to these chambers.
The two of them out of the entire state? Or just the ones that you know of?
Well, yeah, I've done stories at 5 of them. Those are just 2 off the top of my head right now. Completely.
To where you can just walk in like that?
Absolutely. Got the video footage. I've already released it for consumption by the public. Hey everyone, I am free. It's February 20th, 2024. I'm in the town of Buckley, Pierce County, Washington State. I'm heading here because I got tips and leads about some sort of like a chlorine leak, or a chlorine leak that is on the cusp of occurring and leaking into 2 basins that are supposedly nearby the Wolf's Legal and Wickersham Basin. So I'm here to actually check that out, see if that's actually the case. All right, here we go. This is the wastewater treatment plant here. So you see, no limitation on access, so I'm gonna head on in. 100%. They welcome people to come.
Interesting.
To be right next to the tanks. I mean, you could climb up on the tank and jump in. I wouldn't advise it, but you know,
that would be
not going to turn out well for you, right?
Right.
But my point is that I'm making here is what delineates between what is lawful and what is not lawful is that mountain of case law and also statutes in Washington State. The Defenses Against Criminal Trespass identified that my presence was lawful. There was no restrictions. 3 gates were open. No signs existed.
Right.
If somebody just randomly decrees, hey, journalist, we don't want you here, but Sergeant Satterley can be here because we like him, that's capricious and arbitrary. What they were doing is doing a content and expressive speech violation. They were doing an unlawful restriction. It's called prior restraint. They're restraining my lawful presence to speak or to create speech.
I think I can follow you with that, and I think that's where we can, like I said, the fence. I just refer back to the fence and the reason why it's there. That it's. I think any reasonable person would believe, in the years that I've been here, that you wouldn't just be able to have random access to it because it's because of what it is, kind of thing, and. So I think I don't want to just keep going around in circles. No, and that's perfectly fine.
I've made my arguments. I'm just like I said.
I appreciate that.
I'm looking to be as amicable as possible. I'm not looking to go up down to the roads, but it doesn't sound like the city wants to avoid that.
Well, I mean, avoid what? Like any
litigation?
Any litigation?
Yeah, because the issue for me is when I went in there. I didn't have any tips and leads. I want to be clear about this because I'm always upfront about this stuff. So like when I was out at Vashon and I was working there, I had 3 locals say they actually have leaks coming out of their pipes. Okay, so I was like, okay, I'll go out there and check that out. Now when I got there wasn't any leaks coming out of their pipes, but they're like super eco people out on that island, right? I mean, they really, really are super eco.
Good from that. Good.
But when I went there, what I'm doing is working on a long-term documentary about wastewater treatment plants, and you can catch things in the moment. The problem with having myself removed is, and I'm assuming you're a citizen somewhere in this area. One of the things that citizens need to know is if there is something there, it needs to be caught. Now, I know you'll probably be shocked like this, but when bad people do bad things, they usually don't want to get caught. You've probably never run across that as a police officer, but that doesn't exclude government employees.
Right.
And so the director of public works has every incentive to ensure his job is not jeopardized. And I guarantee you, if there was a leak there, his job would be at jeopardy. So my goal is not only to get B-roll footage, because like I said, there was not tips and leads about any leaks, but to get B-roll footage and to juxtapose against other places that I've been at across the state at these wastewater treatment plants. And if I had caught something,
Right.
imagine how good that would be for the city of Kalama. To be able to say, whoa, we've got a leak here, this journalist caught it. Now, as far as I could tell, it wasn't, but I was prohibited from finishing my story.
Right.
And that's where we're at. So that's why I said, is the city interested in reaching out to council before I leave town? Because I think there's an opportunity to rectify this. But.
No, I think if since you're bringing up the litigation, I don't want to speak any further about that portion.
Okay.
It would be one of those things to where
Well, I'm trying to avoid
yours would talk to ours, kind of thing.
Well, we're not there yet. That's why I'm trying to provide an opportunity for the city. I mean, I'm trying to be amicable. I'm trying to be reasonable.
Well, of course, I think you're being I think you are.
Is the city interested in having that conversation?
I think your timing and everything to where we don't have a lawyer that I can just call right now to want to talk to you. It doesn't work in these small cities that aren't like that. It's one of these that I've let the city administrator know what's going on. He's aware of it.
Not interested in trying to solve the problem? Okay,
not right now.
Fair enough.
Not right now.
And that's all I can do is just try to solve it. Do you have a business card I can get?
I do.
Thank you. All right, appreciate it. Sergeant, you have a good day, and I guess I'll be in touch. Take care.
Sir. Thank you.
All right, I think Sergeant Satterley was pleasant. My gut instinct tells me he was not happy I was there, and I don't think he approves or enjoys my kind of journalism. That being said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And they absolutely can reach out to that attorney. The city administrator can reach out to that attorney and talk to that city attorney that's on contract. It's probably one of our well-known law groups up in Seattle. I don't know which one, there's a few of them, but that's probably what it is. And what I was trying to do to resolve this problem was have them rescind the trespass warning, have them then take me back in and let me complete my story. I think that would have resolved the injury. But now I'll never know. There's no way to know when I was there lawfully, accessing a publicly accessible place with no restrictions. And the whole thing they try to get at is a reasonable person. It's the, reasonable man doctrine. The problem is that's not how it works with this. You don't get to have different kinds of reasonability from one location to the next just because there's a fence. Because as I mentioned with a park, there's fences around the park and a sign that says you can't be there after dusk. I wonder what that means. So that's really it here. I'm gonna reach out, try to find counsel as I've done before, see about rectifying this problem that way. I really hate to do this stuff. I'm not looking to do that. As you guys have seen a million times, I'm not looking to take the locals' money for this. And I'm doing everything I can to reach out and solve the problem. But, I think a lot of this is just the city saying, nah, we'd rather burn it all down. We'd rather just stand behind our hubris and just put our thumb in your eye. That's what it's about. We don't want to be good public servants. We want to obstruct your liberties in every way we can, because we don't like people that have freedom. We want to abridge it as much as possible. And that's what we're seeing here in Kalama. I asked for that ability to talk to someone and bring a resolution to this, but as the sergeant just said, on behalf of the city of Kalama, no, the city administrator is not interested. We can't just call an attorney. We know that's not true. They absolutely can. That's the whole point of having an attorney. So that's it here, reporting after my unlawful removal from the Kalama City Wastewater Treatment Facility, and that guy technically assaulting me again. That's why I didn't even ask for the for anything to be done. I mean, he made contact with my camera. Obviously, I'm not physically injured, so I'm not going to push anything like that. Plus, a prosecutor never prosecuted, so it is what it is. They're always going to have the Go Government team go. That being said, I'm done here today for now. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that all notifications bell so you get my stories right when they're released. You can follow me on X at I.A.M. Auditing, on Facebook at Inland Auditing Media. And if you want to help keep my feet on the streets, you can do so by going to the links in the description for Cash App and Venmo. Thank you for watching as always. I'll see you guys at the next location. Take care for now. Bye-bye.